Hey everybody, happy 2023. It's Allison here, and I know some of you have said that you have some flexibility goals for this year. And I am here to help because one of my goals this year is to make more stretching videos. Um, I'm going to start really quick and easy. My only rules for you are don't do it if it hurts. Always move and resist and work within your range of motion so you don't get injured. I teach resistance stretching. Over the course of my life, I've done lots of different types of stretching, and for me, I feel like this type of stretching feels a little more healing, and it's a lot faster as far as like developing flexibility over time. And that's just my perception. All stretching is good, just this type of stretching works best for me. So I'm going to teach you a few things. We're going to keep it really simple and really easy these first few videos. So just a few stretches, and then you can kind of build on them as you go along. What you'll need is a mat and a pillow, and we're going to come right down, and maybe a strap if you're really inflexible. So come on over to your mat. Stop the video if you aren't set up yet. And we're going to start out with a central hamstring stretch. So I've got my pillow. I'm just going to put one knee on the pillow or the blanket and one knee forward. I've got a chair up here. You could use a chair in front of you or some yoga blocks, one on each side of your leg. Either way, I'm just going to use the chair for now. And I'm going to pull my heel, I'm going to dig my heel into the mat and pull it towards me. My whole body's going to kind of move around. So you can see the muscles shortening now. I'm going to hold that contraction and kind of back it up a little bit as I lean forward until I feel a gentle stretch. And I'm just going to keep moving in and out of that motion. I'm going to try to keep my hips pretty squared. And if you need the chair to hold on to, you can do that. Very simple, very easy. We're working to 8 to 12 reps. And it's really up to you how much resistance you want to put into this. So you can pull back with your heel very strongly, or you can pull back gently. It still works either way. And then maybe as you go, you can start to get a little deeper into it. And maybe for some of you, after you do 8 to 12 reps, I'm not counting right now. I usually just go until I feel like, okay, I'm starting to feel that muscle open up for me. Maybe after this, you can do a passive stretch. And it should be much easier since your muscle will be warm. Okay, and now we're going to move into the balancing stretch, which is the hip flexor stretch. And I definitely need a chair for this one a lot of times because I feel like I'm going to fall over. For this one, I'm going to imagine my back leg pulling forward or pulling towards my chest, and the front leg is going to pull back. So there's kind of a scissoring action going on. I'm going to hold that contraction, pull my belly in, do the opposite of sticking my butt out, and shift forward until I feel a stretch. And then as I come back, I'm going to imagine this knee pulling into my chest, into like a fetal position. So we've got stretch and strength. You feel that? So as you move in and out, your hip flexor, both your quad and your psoas, iliopsoas, should start feeling a little taxed and stretched all at the same time. This one is a great one for runners. This combo is a great one for runners. And same thing, I'm starting to get tired already, which happens especially in the wintertime because our hip flexors, I think, get really short in the wintertime because we do a lot of sitting and we kind of tend to want to be in the fetal position most of the time in the winter if it's cold where you are. Okay, so once you get through with like 8 to 12 reps of this, or until you feel like this is getting tired and warm, then we're going to switch sides. Okay, so the other leg comes forward. Again, I'm going to pull the heel. The heel's going to pull back toward me the whole time I'm doing this. I'm going to pull my heel toward me, and that's going to bring my body forward. and then I'm going to pull back and kind of lean into it a little bit till I feel a stretch. I am pulling my heel toward me the entire time, so there is a contraction going on here in the central hamstring. Now, you could kind of twist a little bit. Then you're going to get more into the outer hamstring, the biceps femoris, but we're not generally going to start with that muscle just yet. We'll get into that one in future videos. And here's where you can notice, like, which leg is tighter, you know? Some of you might find that this hurts your knee, in which case I'm going to show you a variation. So I don't want you to work through knee pain. Some of these stretches and the problem solving, we can actually start figuring out why you have knee pain for some of you. All right, just keep working in and out of it and deeper into that stretch. If you prefer to pull your toe back toward your shin as you do this stretch, you're going to get more calf behind the knee. If you point your toe, you're going to get more into the belly of the hamstring. I have a hard time holding the contraction when I'm pointing my toe. So just do it either way you want to do it. And then we're going to move into that hip flexor stretch again. So again, I'm scissoring my legs together. I'm imagining my front leg is pulling back and my back knee is pulling forward. I'm going to hold that contraction, pull my belly in, do the opposite of sticking my butt out, and shift forward and back. So each time I move back, I'm imagining this back leg kicking forward or pulling into my chest. I want you to imagine that happening. This way we get strength and stretch at the same time, because the hip flexors tend to be short, tight, and weak muscles from all the sitting that we do. So it's good to work them within reason. I say within reason because I have pulled my hip flexor twice doing various abdominal exercises, so it's good to keep them strong within reason. Within reason. And then about 8 to 12 of these. Again, I haven't been counting. And then we're going to move into one more stretch. This one is for the calves. This is the downward dog stretch, although you could do it with a chair. And I may end up doing it with a chair. I'm going to roll up this blanket, put it right here. And then I'm going to take my chair, turn it around, and put it in front of me. I'm going to stand on the blanket with the ball of my foot, and I'm going to let my heels drop. I'm going to lift my heels. So just do some calf raises to start out. And then when you start feeling a little warmed up, you're going to drop the heels, push the hips back, press the chest down. And you should get a pretty nice calf stretch. So I'm lifting, shifting forward, and then slowly lowering. Pressing the chest down. Oh, that's a good stretch. So this is a great alternative to downward dog to get those calves stretched out if you're not big into downward dog. Another thing you can do is try to lift your toes when you're in this position. So not only pressing the chest down, this is actually a lat and chest stretch too. As you push your hips back, tilt your tailbone up, pull your toes up, and then press your chest down. See if you can get into a little arch there with your back. Rolled up towel for this works just as well. one more time, and then we're going to move down to the mat and do some variations of these stretches. So I'm going to just take my blanket, move it over a little bit. I've got a strap. You could use a towel. It works just fine. Old ties work great for this. So I'm going to do a little supine version. I'm going to put the strap around my foot and lift it up. Now you may just be here, and that is okay. That is perfectly fine. I am going to push my heel down toward the ground, and then as I'm pushing down, I'm going to pull back with my arms. And that's going to catch that same hamstring muscle that we just stretched. It should feel pretty good right now. So there's a little bit of a pumping action. I'm pressing upward with the ball of my foot toward the ceiling. You don't have to. You could flex your foot. Just find the strap stays on there better. So this is for the people that if the first one hurts your knees, you can start with this. So I'm pushing down with my heel the entire time as I'm pulling the foot back. And then switch legs. So press down, pull back. And the first couple, I know there are some people that really, they can't lift their leg much more than that. You can bend your knee a little bit, but try to avoid bending it too much. Just work within your range of motion. So some of you this is as far as you're going to go. That's okay. That is perfectly fine. I do realize that I stretch a lot, so I may be a little more flexible than some of you. I was introduced to this stretch in a yoga class a long time ago, and I was just super fascinated by how we were strengthening, we were contracting the muscle while we were stretching it. And my body just really responded to it. So then when I found resistance stretching, that there was an entire program of like this type of stretching, I was just kind of got addicted to it. All right. And then for the hip flexor, there's two ways to do this. I'm going to start out easy peasy. I'm going to catch my right leg behind the thigh with my hand. So that leg is going to kind of stay where it is, but it's kind of kicking out, and then this leg is going to kick in. So I've got this action going where I'm pulling in with my knee, but I'm slowing the movement down by pushing back with my hand. And then I'm going to stretch it out just as far as I can with my hand. I'm just kind of warming up the hip flexor. Another great way to do this is take a block or a stack of books. If you've got pretty big books, and you put it under your hips like that, and or like that. This is fine. And then try that out. You don't even, you just see if you can get a little bit more range of motion. You might just want to float it at the end. You could put some ankle weights on. That would work too. And then switch sides. So I'm pulling in with my knee, I'm pushing out with my hand. I'm kind of bicycling my legs. Till they're nice and warm. Yeah, and then you can just kind of give it a passive stretch. Maybe take the knee in and out to the side. That's always a great stretch. This is a passive stretch, though, not a resistance stretch. And I like to follow up with my resistance stretches with some passive stretches at the end. It really feels good to me. Because then my muscles are all warmed up, they're elastic, and they're ready for more. And then I'm going to touch one more time on the calves with the downward dog stretch. I don't expect anybody to have a perfect downward dog for this one, so just You can be up, your knees can be bent, your back can be a little rounded. That's okay. So we're going to lift up on the balls of the toes, shift forward, and then shift back and slowly lower the heels. Press the chest down toward the mat. Lift the tailbone, lift the toes. Shift forward and back. Play around with turning your heels out, turning your heels in. See what that does for you. So this would be the advanced version of the calf stretch with the chair that I just demonstrated, the first one. Sometimes I kind of like to just swing my hips from side to side once I get back here. Just give a little variation. There's a lot of muscle fibers in those calves. All right. So that's my first video for 2023. I'm going to try to do about 3 videos a week. And I do take requests. So if there's any muscles that you're trying to stretch and you can't get to, let me know and I will get to them. All right. Happy 2023. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.